All right, guys, so in this next video, we're going to talk about tools that just work. So these are cheap tools or cheaper tools, but they work really well. And in many cases, they work just as well as your higher end tools. So we're going to kind of go through the line, go down the line. We're going to give you an idea. We're going to keep this video quick and short. So when it comes to sockets, right, some tools that work really good. I know and I stand behind the statement, Harbor Freight, I know people are like, oh my God, but Harbor Freight Pittsburgh Pro impact sockets work really well. I've had the 1/2" drive, I've had the 3/8 drive, I've had them for a number of years. I've used them on the biggest, baddest impact guns that I own, and they do not break or crack or waller out, as some people say. As it's referred to as wallering out. So what I mean by that is on the anvil end, they don't wear out real quickly on here and become sloppy on the anvil. So I stand behind the fact that if you're looking for a cheap set of impact sockets that you want to last, to go the mileage, Pittsburgh Pro does it. I've also got these Icon sockets here. Now I don't have a lot of experience with the Icon, but my assumptions are that the chemistry in terms of the metal is going to be the same. Basically, it's going to be chrome moly, right? And then whatever heat treating process they implement will determine how hard or how soft they are. I don't expect the Harbor Freight Icon sockets to be any worse than the Pittsburgh Pro. And in most cases, because of their price point, they should be a little bit better. But still, they're going to be cheaper than your higher end sockets such as the Mac, Snap-on, Matco, and even Cornwell. Another good set of sockets that I put even before Icon or Pittsburgh is going to be Gradiomatic. Gradiomatic makes excellent sockets, absolutely excellent sockets. And in my opinion, in terms of impact sockets, because that's all they do, these work better than a lot of your higher end sockets as well. And what I mean by that is that they have a better fitment. They're not so tight, because there's always this issue where if you get a bolt or a fastener that's not necessarily 100% in spec in terms of its size, you need to have a little bit of slop there or a little bit of freeness in order to get the socket on. Sometimes your higher end sockets are so tightly toleranced that they can't accommodate that. Whereas your cheaper or mid-grade sockets tend to be able to do that. Gradiomatic sockets work really well for that. I have never experienced one to break. I have never had one crack. I have never had one fail. And they don't deform or waller out, like I said, like some of your higher end sockets. So Gradiomatic would probably be one of my top recommended brands for the price, okay? I've got Icon, I've got Gradiomatic, Carlisle, and then some Matco. Those are just what I keep on that tray. So I strongly stand behind Gradiomatic sockets for their reliability and performance. And you can see there, I've got Gradiomatic, like I said on here, I've got even quarter drive here on the side. And my Matco box is the box that I work out of most frequently. So do not be afraid to get yourself either Icon Pittsburgh Pro or Gradiomatic impact sockets. But those are great brands for the price point, okay? In terms of ratchets, I don't have a lot of cheap ratchets, right? I'm just the way that things work themselves out. I don't have a lot of cheap ratchets. I don't really have any cheap ratchets, but if I was going to pick one, I would stand behind Gear Wrench. Gear Wrench seems to be the one brand that is constantly trying to perform at that higher end price point, being comparative to Mac or Cornwell. They're trying to get up to that status, and they've done a good job at doing that. In some cases, people may even consider Gear Wrench to be better than Matco, which is on the upper end of the quality chart there, if you will. Gear Wrench would be the ratchet. If I did not have these ratchets, I would go with Gear Wrench. Another great brand that I have used is Capri. Capri Tools makes excellent ratchets. Now, I did have some. I've given them away to Justin Dow so that he could give those to his technicians, which he did. He did a video, so thank you, Justin, for doing that. That was really awesome. But those ratchets worked really, really well. So if I had to pick for a cheaper ratchet, I would either go with Gear Wrench or Capri. So those would be my recommended brands for that. Extensions. Extensions will fall under Gradiomatic once again. I have a full set of Gradiomatic extensions. I'm probably not going to be able to get to them because they're probably going to be deeply embedded in my box. Maybe not. Trying to keep this video quick as I possibly can so I can keep your attention. But here's a set of Gradiomatic extensions made out of the same alloy chrome moly as their sockets are. So you're going to get the same reliability and performance that you would get with their impact sockets. So save yourself some money, go out and buy Gradiomatic. A complementary brand to Gradiomatic would also be Sunex. So if you can't find those sockets or impacts or extensions you want from Gradiomatic, which is probably not going to be the case, but even so, another alternative brand would be Sunex, which I do have some Sunex stuff in my box. Okay. Next, moving on to screwdrivers. Screwdrivers, I have a lot of higher end stuff, but there are some other lesser known brands out there of screwdrivers. One of the brands that I would recommend, you can pick it up at your Lowe's home improvement store, which is going to be Lennox, Lennox. Lennox makes a really nice screwdriver. It has an excellent feel. I actually have one on the other end of my shop. I should have grabbed it. I thought to grab it. I apologize that I did not grab it, but they make a great feel screwdriver, meaning it's got a great feel. It almost has that Klein quality grip to it, but at the same time, the price point is absolutely excellent. They are not made in the USA. They're either made in China or Taiwan, but they have great quality. They last a long time. I've used them from picks to chisels to screwdrivers, pry bars. I've used them in every way imaginable, and they are great. And you can pick up like a set of 5 or 6 for like less than 30 bucks at Lowe's. So do not be afraid to check out Lennox for screwdrivers. Pry bars. If you're going to get a set of pry bars, I strongly recommend Also Tools. Also Tools makes great pry bars. These indexing pry bars are absolutely awesome. You can change your position. They have a nice sharp profile so they can get under things with relative ease. They're made out of great quality steel, meaning that the steel is not brittle. It doesn't crack under stress. And I'm struggling to get this thing to actuate with one hand. But they perform really, really well. I actually have the the bigger version of my travel box. And I always try to keep one of these indexing pry bars with me at all times. So check out Also Tools for pry bars if you're looking for something like that. Get all this stuff to fit. All right, wrenches. Okay, wrenches. I stand behind for ratcheting wrenches. I stand behind Capri. I think Capri is up there with some of your name brand wrenches, especially with the ratcheting wrenches. These things work absolutely excellent. They have never failed. They do not slip. They don't break. You can even break fasteners free, which I don't recommend for a ratcheting wrench, but you can do that if you have to, if you're in that situation where you need to do it. They also have their own version of recess or where you can take some of the load and redistribute it onto the flats of the fastener. So they have those relief cuts built in. They don't have a flank drive feature in there, which doesn't seem to matter. They do not form. They do not spread. Capri tools hit a home run when they made these ratcheting wrenches. And I got to tell you, I'm actually becoming more and more of a fan of the matte or satin finish on these wrenches. I would strongly recommend buying those. And honestly, if you can still find yourself a set of Craftsman USA, the square beam or the raised beam, raised panel, whatever you call them, wrenches like this, pick yourself up a set of these. You can find these at every pawn shop in America. All right, sorry about that, guys. I got cut off. Phone ran out of space. So, yeah, pick yourself up some of those raised panel wrenches. They're cheap. You can find them in every pawn shop in America. Another brand, like I said, is Capri. Anything Capri wrench wise, you can pick up. They work really, really well. I stand behind them. If you're looking for a really cheap wrench, believe it or not, guys, Cobalt makes a really good wrench. I have a couple different sets of these. These are my stubbies, and for a stubby wrench, it makes sense not to spend a lot of money on the wrench in itself, trying to find Snap-on or one of the higher end brands. But Cobalt makes a really good wrench in terms of an overall wrench. I strongly stand behind their brand when it comes to wrenches. Somewhat on the socket side of it too, but primarily for wrenches. So get yourself a set of Cobalt wrenches. They won't screw you over, and they won't fail on you in the field. So that's not a bad pickup. In terms of pliers, right? Everybody loves Canipix pliers, but one set of pliers that people don't talk about that often is Also Tools. Also Tools makes a great set of pliers. They have that same logic or technology that you would find with respect to the jaw. And this is the thing, guys. I don't know if you ever looked at it, but what makes Canipix pliers really good is that they have a hardened steel jaw. They have teeth on the lower profile that are forward facing, and teeth on the upper jaw which are rear facing. So what happens is when you bite onto something and you push down, it creates a rotational torque on the object, and thus those teeth bite into them or bite into the object, and you see how sharp they are. In every case of those Canipix pliers, they're really sharp jaws. If you look at like Klein's or some of the other brands or channel locks, they were never really sharp, right? And that was what prevented them from being as bit better than what they were. And so Also Tools figured that out, it appears, and they make a really set of pliers which are DIN ISO 8976 compliant, which is a good thing. I believe Canipix also falls under that same category. But these are an excellent set of pliers. I think you can get a set of 3 for like under like $70 or $60, and hell, it may be even cheaper. At this point in time, I've not bought any in a long time. Another set of decent pliers, another brand, is Tecton. And the only reason why I'm putting Tecton up there is because they are made by Wildy, and Wildy is a USA company, and they seem to do okay. If you don't want to spend the money on channel locks, you can get yourself some Tecton. Now, I have heard that channel locks are priced competitively with some of the lower end or mid-grade tools. So maybe just stick to channel lock. If you can do that, and if the price point makes sense for you, just stick with channel locks. They've been around forever, and you can't go wrong. But if you're really trying to get that Canipix performance out of your pliers, personally, I would recommend Also Tools. Let's see here. For your needle nose pliers, I go with Klein. Once again, Klein makes a really good tool. They're not terribly expensive, but I feel like for the price and the performance you're going to get out of a Klein, for something like this, just go ahead and pick up a pair of Kleins. I've got a couple different sets, which I guess I apparently didn't realize that I did. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize I had so many of them sitting in this drawer, but I guess I do. So if you're looking for these types of pliers, these hose pliers, hose release pliers, whatever you want to call them, just go to, if you get a Northern Tool, go to Northern Tool, pick yourself up a set of Titans. They're made offshore, they're made in India. They're machined fairly well. You can look at they're not all whopper jaw. They're not all like the old Harbor Freight pliers. Every time you buy a set, you have one jaw here, one jaw down there. These Titan brand that are made in India seem to work fairly well. They're fairly stiff. They don't flex too much in your hand. And for how often you're going to use them, why spend the money on the higher end brands? All right. You can get these anywhere, that's nothing special. Actually, I went and bought some Hex and Torque Sockets from my local Tractor Supply. These are no name. They're simply chrome moly. Absolutely some of the best performing Hex and Torque Sockets I ever got. I wish they had a brand associated with them, but if you have a Tractor Supply, see if you can go in there and find yourselves some of these. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. Okay, let's see here. This is more specialized tools, so this is going to be more higher end stuff down in here. But like I said, stick to Sunex, stick to Gradiomatic. Those brands seem to work out really well for what they cost. You don't have to break the bank to get them. Another good brand is CTA Tool. Not everything is super cheap from CTA Tool, but you can pick them up off of Amazon. This is a flip socket set, I do believe. I've not used it before, but I do have other tools from CTA, and they work really well. So they've been around a long time. And like I said, they're not always the cheapest depending on what you're buying, but in terms of quality and performance, they work out really, really well. So don't be afraid to pick yourself up some tools from CTA. I know that wasn't going to work. Let's see here. Sorry, my phone's trying to die. I'm trying to get this video out for you guys. All right, I think that's going to be it. Let's see here. Everything else is probably more specialized, so we're not going to go down in that drawer. But we jump over to my big box, my main box. Everything's higher end in here, so I really can't tell you anything. That's a cheap tool that would be worth buying. Always try to find deals, guys. Always be looking for deals, whether it be Amazon or if it's you know, eBay, whatever the case may be. Always try to find yourself a good deal. Do not overpay for things. You don't really have to in this day and time. People are always trying to liquidate things, always trying to make a buck. So it's very easy to build a collection like mine. If you really put your mind into it, it's not hard whatsoever. So I'm not trying to show off the box. I'm trying to find other tools that I think would be worthwhile buying. Scan tools, if you're going to buy a little scanner, something like the Innova scanner here. This is a 3100 series. Pick it up at any automotive supply store, and these things work really well. This Top Don battery tester, absolutely love it. I haven't done a full review on it, but I will have one coming out. This is the BT100. It has multiple functions built into it. I have a Blue Point version, and when I got this guy, I was like, I don't know that I'll ever use that one again, because this one here is so easy. It's got so many features in it. I was shocked for what it cost. It's an excellent deal. So, but we're gonna do a review on that at some point in time. But that's all I got. I gotta edit this videos. It broke up multiple times, so I'm gonna edit the videos, put it together, and then we will get this posted, guys. So that's just the first installment, or cheap tools that work really, really well. And there'll be multiple installments on the same subject matter. I'm going to try to give you guys a different flavor of what I would recommend. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Midwest_tool_review. And click that like button, guys. All right, peace.